Hello folks, patch 20.0.3 just got announced. It should be live by the time you see this video. So I'm gonna go everything Battlegrounds related because they're reintroducing an old hero and reworked it, and they're reworking some bad heroes as well. So for those of you who saw the Yapod episode, I was complaining a bit about like the lack of updates and that I wish they did more. Luckily, they did rework some bad heroes. There are still some issues that I have with this patch and things that I'm really frustrated about, which I will talk about at the end because I want to talk about all the good stuff, but of course I want to give some criticism as well, as always. So let's take a look at all the new shit that you can expect, and of course I'm gonna rate all the new stuff so you kind of have an idea of how strong I think it's gonna be and give you some ideas of how to use these new heroes. So first of all, we got a returning hero, Shudderwock. So Shudderwock usually just double the battle cries that you played a turn for 1 gold. That hero power got now changed to add a 1/1 Shudderling to your hand, which is this card. And that repeats all the battle cries that you've played up until that point, which is really sick. We kind of got a tease of like an idea they had where every third battle cry you played was a double battle cry, which we saw when the new Shudderwock skin got released, but that apparently is not the new hero power. This is it. So you get this 1/1 for 0 gold. You can use it twice per game. So twice per game you can get a Shudderling that replays all the previously played battle cries. Now, a couple of things that come to mind is if you play 3 tokens and then you play this guy, you get another triple. So if you get an early token triple and you want to use this hero power for tempo or for like a big spike, you can just hero power twice, get 2 more triples, discover more units, and then you have no hero power left, but essentially your hero power gave you 2 early triples, which is pretty decent. Of course, this needs some experimentation, as anything really, but if you play a menagerie comp and you play some Murloc buffs or whatever in the mid game, you can just slam a Shudderling for a lot of battle cries on your board, a lot of strength. One thing to keep in mind is also that it does not have a tribe, but late game I feel like the ideal case is that you can hold on to this and play Malygos adapt a bunch of times. You just play a Shudderling, get a big Divine Shield poison, just like an Malygos, and then of course all the other battle cries that buff your board, all the jugs that you played, all that stuff are also gonna be played. Now there's probably some other battle cries that I'm not thinking of, and mainly it's gonna be a spike with buffs, sometimes triples if that's gonna end up being good, and Malygos are like probably the best thing to hit, and with a brand of course it stacks. So what I think is a really strong one. I feel like a lot of people as well think that this is one of the stronger heroes that's gonna be released. Like, it seems insane. One thing though is that hero powers that are good late game but not good early game generally are pretty bad. You want your hero to do something early on, because otherwise you just die. Like, look at the reworked Illidan. So Illidan the Demon Hunter just attacked with both units first, left and right side, which was bad because it was insane late game but really bad early game. So they gave them plus attack left and right side to give them a bit of tempo early game, and they still didn't have enough. Like, late game Illidan can easily win lobbies, they have so many cool combos, but they never make it that far. That might be the case for Shudderwock unless people don't play greedy. If people know when to hero power in the mid game or even early game to just get some tempo and just steamroll or get those triples. Like, if you look at Reno for example, people who hold onto the hero power for too long and just level up and try and have a 6 drop very often die as well if they don't do it properly, and they don't manage their health correctly. So I think it's a really cool hero, but I think there is some skill attached into knowing when to press that button and how to not greed. But I'm gonna give Shudderwock a 5. I'm definitely gonna play this guy a bunch, try him out, so I'll give him a 5. We also got Dancin Deryl, so instead of giving 2 random minions +1/+1 twice, it now gets 3 random minions +1/+1 twice. So for every unit you sell, you get +3/+3. Does this make him viable? I actually don't know. I think Deryl didn't have the tempo or couldn't provide enough tempo on the board to like compete with the people that actually have scaling, while mechs are in a very good place. So if it's a mech lobby and tokens are in, maybe Dancin Deryl is gonna now be able to put out enough stats to have a good Divine Shield board. Look at Katoon. Katoon also just presses his button, stays on tier 4 and can play an ARM taunt comp. Maybe that's something you can do with Deryl now. Of course, we have to try out this stuff. This is a hard one to judge because this seems like a massive buff. You get like 50% extra buff, so your Deryl board previously and now is gonna be like extra half the stats. Does that make sense? Instead of a 10-10 deflector, it will be a 15-15, to give a simple example. Of course, that's not the case exactly because of the base stats, but you get the idea. It's actually a massive buff, so I think it's gonna make Deryl viable. I think he's gonna be playable in the right lobbies, not in spell lobbies. I think that those lobbies are still too greedy, and if you hit the right units early on, sure, Sure, because tier 3 and 4 combos are actually viable. That's the main reason why. So I'm gonna give Deryl a 4 in the right lobby. Anyway, real quick, I appreciate everyone who already subscribed to the channel. The majority of people I watch my videos are still not subscribed, which is kind of sad because I love making these. But yeah, if you want to catch more of them, consider clicking that subscribe button to catch patch updates, guides, fun videos, all this sort of stuff. That's it. Hope you enjoyed the rest of the video. Then Flurgl. This one is a really interesting change. So instead of having to sell a Murloc now and then regaining a Murloc in the shop, which was the previous hero power, now you can sell any minion on your board and get a Murloc in your shop, which is insane. If you now do the warrior curve, if you don't know what that is, then you know I made a leveling video some days ago about all the curves. Warrior curve is where you stay down on tier 1 till 7 gold. And then you double level and then you take a bunch of triples into 5 drops. That's gonna be insane now because you just get all the token triples with this. Like even if you don't hit Murlocs early on, you can just sell your tokens or your 1-drops and get Murlocs in your shop and just guarantee almost get Murloc triples in your shop. Like if you stay down, you're almost guaranteed a Tide Hunter or Rockpool Hunter triple. And then just level and take those 5-drops. You hit a brand and then you just win on the spot. A brand with Flurgl is just GG. So I think this actually might make him viable with the right strategy. What I just mentioned is one strategy that immediately came to mind. There might be other ways that you can play him now. Maybe just play him normal. You pop off on tier 3, whatever. But yeah, I think it's actually going to be playable. I think I'm going to give him a 3. Mainly because I don't think he's going to be super easy to play still. Flurgl has always been a high skill hero. You got to know how to balance your health well, how to level properly, how your economy works out, and how to spike, stuff like that. So I think he's gonna take a lot of experimenting. I feel like in the mid-tier ranks, people like 7k, 6k, in that range he might not perform too well, but I think in high-level play, and maybe even in lower tiers, because in lower tiers people can just do kind of whatever, and this hero power, Murlocs are also really good in lower tiers, then I think Flurgl is gonna perform pretty good. So I'll keep it at 3 because I think it really fluctuates. Also depends on the lobby. It gets hard countered by mechs like Divine Shields, also just really destroys Murlocs a lot. But that's my conclusion on this change. Then we got Maiev, so 1 gold hero power to make a unit in the shop dormant, which means that you get it in 3 turns with +1/+1 bonus. Now you still get it in 3 turns, but it gets a +2/+2 bonus. I think that's not going to change much. Like the bonus is not why you dormant units. You don't really care about the buff. Like this is the same as when they nerfed the +1/+1 to a +1/+0, so just +1 attack. It didn't do anything. The reason why Maiev had a good hero power is because you get farm triples. You can buy units for 1 gold, which is insane. But 3 turns is just too much. No matter if you get +1/+1 or +2/+2, that doesn't matter because the +2/+2 also comes after 3 turns. By then you don't need the tempo anymore because you have leveled up. You can hit better units. You don't need a 1-drop with +2/+2. You get those 1-drops to get triples. So I think this change is not going to change anything, or like very little. Maybe the win rate goes up by a little bit, but still not going to be good. So I think I'm gonna keep Maiev a 2 because you can technically still hire with the hero. I've seen Maiev do decent sometimes, but it's just not a consistent hero anymore or very good. So I'll keep it at a 2. And the last one is Malygos. So it used to be a 0 gold hero power to replace a unit with a different unit from the same tavern tier. So if you get hero power units on your board, like let's say hero power 2-drop, it changes into a different 2-drop. You can also hero power units in the shop before you buy them. Now you can use it twice per turn. So twice per turn, if you're not happy, you could change 1 unit twice, or you could change multiple units in the shop on your board, which is pretty cool, I guess. Like if you hit a 5-drop and you miss, now you can much easier reroll. This is kind of a guarantee that if you triple and you miss, you can just reroll until you hit the good stuff. You can easier triple as well. If you have a pair on your board, you can just keep hero powering stuff from the same tavern tier until you hit that triple. So I actually really like this change. I don't know if that's gonna make Malygos that good, because again, the hero power doesn't give you tempo, it doesn't give you anything directly, it just changes units. So it gives you a bit more consistency, a bit more consistency, kind of like Nosdormu, right? Where you can level and hit some decent units. You may most of the time have like decent shops. Now with Malygos as well, you're gonna have most of the time decent shops. But in high roll lobbies, that's not enough. So you're still not gonna compete with high roll heroes, with people that hit the good stuff, with tempo hero powers. Like you don't compete with that. But I think this might make Malygos an okay hero to take from time to time, just like Nosdormu is. So I'm gonna give him a 3, about average. So I know 3s are pretty boring, but what can I do? If a hero is just gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay. And then if you scroll down to bug fixes, there's only 1 bug fix for Battlegrounds, and that is that Lich King's hero power could apparently disconnect people from the game server. I know that Lich King's hero power had some bugs, but I didn't know it could disconnect people. That's the bug that got fixed. One thing I need to mention as well is that the cosmetics are going to be released from the cute bundle, like the cute Katoon and other skins that I've covered previously. They are apparently being released. It doesn't say so in the patch notes, but I saw someone tweet about it. I think it was Nina. So you can pre-order those or just play with those already. I don't know exactly. Now here's why I'm not that happy with these patch notes. We only got one bug fix for Battlegrounds, and in general they didn't mention the client. They didn't mention any of the major bugs happening, the disconnects, the chat not working. The bugs that have been in the game for months and months and months that I've talked about every single time are also not being addressed in these. I can't anymore. I don't understand. If you saw yesterday's Yap Mode episode, so the podcast, there I go very in depth into all the bug fixes, into communication with the devs, all that stuff. So if you want to like get my 2 cents on how I feel about the game and the future of Battlegrounds, this kind of solidifies that. It kind of proves my point of the direction we're heading into and why I'm scared of the future. Like, it's just a fiesta. It just doesn't feel like the game will ever be out of beta for real. So that's a little bit scary. So I wish we got more bug fixes, because there's a lot in the game that have been there for months and that are being addressed. We got confirmation that they're working on it, that they know about the bugs. I just wonder why it's taking so long. Anyway, if you have any other questions or you want to see me try out these heroes, probably as you watch this video, as this goes live, I'm also going to stream on Twitch. So I'll be on Twitch. I'll try and do a very long stream. You can hop by, links will be in the description, ask questions or watch me try hard and try out the new heroes, because yeah, I wanna hit my ranks back. I dropped a little bit too low. So if you want to catch me live, you can do so. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a good day, and yeah, enjoy the patch.